the Essential Commodities Act of 2020. This act was more of an amendment than an act, as it amended the 1955 Essential Commodities Act, which gave the center authority to regulate prices of certain commodities that they deemed essential, such as food crops, petroleum products, and fertilizer. But now the government can only do so in cases of extraordinary cases such as wars, famines, natural calamities of grave nature, and extraordinary price rise. Government reiterated the original goal of the Essential Commodities Act, which was to provide as a means of livelihood in times of hardships. But what did it actually result in? It resulted in losses of crores to the government every year and losses of tons of food grains getting spoiled every year. While helping a small percentage of farmers, it wrought havoc to the land, as a higher price for wheat and rice and government promise to procure goods led to over-exploitation of land and overgrowing of water-intensive crops. Today, more than 80% of the land in Punjab has been deemed overexploited, and the number is around 50% in Haryana. I personally do not have any problem with the criticism against any of these laws because I believe that every side should get a chance to prove their point. But I have the problem with the sheer perniciousness with which people make angles out of stories, which create purposefulness out of nothing. I have a problem with the George W. Bush syndrome, where we only believe that we can be with one side or against it. We've forgotten that we can have a stand of our own, which may ideologically be our own, unless until it does not vitiate the truth. It does not vitiate the truth. I have a problem because I feel that India at this point has done enough damage to itself beyond repair. Because it has become fashionable to abuse the majority. It has become fashionable to abuse the majoritarian. It has become fashionable to support the minority and the underdogs and later paint them as victims. Why should that happen? Why should the majority feel apologetic about being the majority in a country they were born in? And likewise, why should the minority feel guilty about being the minority? I would like to rest my case by saying that the Indian agricultural laws were long awaited but unanticipated laws that were needed to change the crippling agricultural system of India. Thank you.
Thank you, Chaitanya. Next participant is Sanvitu Lee, who will express herself against the motion.
Earlier, we had political ideologies. Then we had political ideologues. And now we have political traders who call for the civil liberty but dabble with the fabric of secular, united, and democratic India. And Parliament, here in Parliament, rather than using electoral platforms as the fountainhead of hope, what do? We strategize how to shun away our duties as public sector with utmost ease and privatize everything possible. We are here to debate if farm laws recently passed are relevant or no. Something which, if would have been taken place in the parliament, we might not have the very need. With this, I, Sanvitule, clearly choose my stance against the said motion. In September last year, India passed 3 farm laws amidst the parliamentary uproar without putting it up for vote as 2/3 majority, without a proper reading session, without a session to debate, without reading it and proving its worth in the upper house. It's the same day, mind you, when number of farmers suicided in the wake of knowing what the new laws brought them, leading to farmers' protests. Do we have any backing out from the parliamentary form of government? No. Then why is every passing month law are made post-government working hours in the midnight without any procedure, with none in the government being able to explain what the benefits the law will bring? Catching up with the on-record political statements of the government personals, they claim, and I quote, the earlier system was flawed and there was no direct connect between business houses and farmers until now. Farmers' right to sell their produce to whomever, wherever, whenever, and in whichever quantity cannot be infringed upon now. Permission to buy or sell outside APMCs will benefit the farmers by creating a new supply or value chains now. Internationally, the nominal protection coefficient of agriculture is 0.87. This implies that farmers can now get at least 13% higher prices in international markets by exporting. This reminds me of Kennedy's quote. The farmer is the only man in our economy who buys everything at retail, sells everything at wholesale, but pays the freight both ways. Think upon these lines and let me know if you're not missing out on logic necessarily this time. Farmers are the people who need a minimum support price or price flooring at which none can exploit exploit them to purchase from them at a price below the floor or the minimum supported price decided by the government or any similar authority. Any business house, any business aims what? Welfare? Obviously, no. It aims at profit. For profit, what do? They increase the price? Obviously, no. They strategize to reduce the cost of the raw material. And what is the farm produced for the big companies? The raw material. Aren't obviously the new farm laws allowing the business houses to take over the farm market as breaking in the country is in the agricultural sector, the most unmanaged, unframed, and non-well trained, least literate. Isn't it the sector with the highest suicide rate each year, both comparatively and unilaterally? We talk about farmers creating value chains when most of them don't even know the skill of banking. We talk about selling the barrier-free state to the straight trading. Really? When they possibly can't have any money before they sell anything? Leaving aside the transportation costs, storage costs, what not costs? We talk about farmers selling in international platforms as exports, when most of them are unknown to internet, leaving aside collecting the foreign exchange. We talk about working hard and creating new contacts to sell, when they are just farmers and not businessmen. If they knew how to strategize that, they would have by now definitely moved on to a better earning sector, would they not? In the wake of every next law being framed in this nation, we need to hear out what markets have to say. Alas, the laws are for men are not for laws. We live in a land. Thank you.
Our 13th team is also from Indrapast World School. Our next participant is Riti Verma, who would be speaking for the motion. Yes, Riti,
Am I
you are
audible and visible? Okay. Beware of false knowledge. It is more dangerous than ignorance. And I think nothing defines the present state of havoc in this country better than this one single statement. A very good afternoon to everyone. My name is Riti Verma, and I'd be speaking in favor of the motion today. Now, before going on to the bills that have been passed regarding agricultural reforms, I think we need to review the structure that existed before it. So the story starts from the simple fact that farmers were being exploited in post-independence India from rich money lenders and traders. So the government had to introduce the APMC, Agricultural Produce Market Committee. And soon the minimum support price, MSP, was also introduced. But what one must not forget is that this was the requirement of the newly independent and economically weak India. I think I need to remind the opposition of the fact that times have changed. And as an evidence in 2015, the Shanta Kumar Committee, which was set up to suggest measures to restructure the Food Corporation of India and give inputs on agricultural reforms, clearly stated that only 6% farmers benefit from the minimum support price. As MSP is only applicable on 22 commodities, most small and fragile farmers hardly get any benefit out of it. Moreover, we need to note the shortcomings and limitations of this structure. Like the fee to trade at APMC was continuously going high. The APMC mandis were low in numbers, so farmers had insufficient market options. Plus, in spite of this really high fee, the infrastructure of APMC was so poor and inadequate that it led to high wastage of agricultural produce. From the discussion of this past structure, I can come to the conclusion that the system, which was made to check exploitation, became exploitative in nature itself. The solution became the problem, and hence the system inevitably had to change. Ironically, the opposition, including the Congress, which is now stoking fears in the public that farmers will lose bargaining power to international corporations in the absence of APMC and MSP, themselves promised to remove the monopoly of APMC during their own time. Members of the House, we need to remember that APMC's monopoly was finally removed by the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Act of 2020, which allowed inter and intra-trade interstate trade of farmers' produce beyond the premises of APMC. Plus, we must not forget that the Modi government has reiterated again and again that APMCs will continue to exist Now, only the farmers have a choice of not going there and trading externally. Plus, the Essential Commodities Act of 1955 was basically introduced to give the government a power to regulate these essential commodities because India was in a scarcity of food. Now that we have increased our food production and now that we are an exporter of agricultural produce, an amendment to deregulate essential commodities was required. Plus, the central government can still regulate these essential commodities, but only in extraordinary circumstances of war and famine. Lastly, I think we need to go back in time and remind ourselves of when our country couldn't finance imports for more than 2 weeks due to shortage in foreign exchange reserves, when we were in inflation and in high debts. And that is when we realized that the economy needs to change and the LPG reforms were introduced in 1991. We need to learn from our mistakes and realize that we have to prevent our agriculture from getting in such a state. And liberalization of agriculture is a simple answer to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Riti. May I now call upon Vansh Suri, who will be speaking against the motion.
Just a second.
Yes, you are visible.
Am I audible and visible? City is high vertical world of hereby am present to call the weight on economy. In an undemocratic way that the deputy chairperson Harivansh Narayan Singh overlooked the needs and demands of the opposition. And when they revolted against the undemocratic procedure, they were suspended rather than being heard. Now let's come to the discussion of the farm laws. The government says that it wills to implement the suggestions present in the report submitted by the Swaminathan Committee on October 4, 2006. But their intentions were crystal clear when they rejected the proposal of negotiating with the farmers and various other suggestions that were present in the Swaminathan Committee's report. Coming to the discussion of the problems in the farm laws, I would like to remind the proposition that the farm laws were to be prepared by a committee of 7 chief ministers, which was headed by a Niti Aayog member Ramesh Chandra, and the report is yet to be submitted. There was no farm leader or farmer present in the committee. Hence, the real stakeholders were not present. The government tries to promote contract farming and gradually shut down the Agricultural Produce Market Committee or APMC that helped the farmers in providing minimum support price or MSP. Various different facilities like cold storage and transportation were provided by the APMC and government altogether to the farmers. But after these new farm laws being implemented, the government will be at a backhand, and so the farmers will have to sell their crops as soon as possible, even at lower rates. Let's cite an example of Maharashtra to see the ills of contract farming, where since its implementation, the number of suicide rates of farmers have broken all records. Economists wrote to the Prime Minister to withdraw these farm laws. If the above stated situation prevails in India, then the economy as well as the people both are in a big danger. Also, under the Essential Commodities Act, various different essential commodities which were grown at a very high rate in our country have been removed from the category of essential commodities, directly affecting the farmers who are growing them at a very large scale. Moreover, it will affect India's rank in the World Hunger Index adversely. Under the new farm laws, there is no system for penalizing the companies who violate the terms of contract. It is not mandatory for the corporates to make a written contract. This shows that how through these laws the government wants to benefit its corporate friends. So we must understand that in a country where more than 60% of population works for farmers and also more than 18% is their contribution to the GDP, these farm laws are draconian and must be suspended and withdrawn so that the backbone of the economy does not break down. Thank you.
Team 14 is from James Kalkaji. Shivani Gupta, who would express herself for the motion.
Am I visible or audible?
Yes, you are visible and audible.
The farmers have to be an optimist or he wouldn't still be a farmer. The farmers are the backbone of our India. Hello everyone, a very good noon to all of you. My name is Shivani Gupta. I welcome you all in this event. I'm here to represent my views for the motion. So, for the farmers, the three laws have been projected by the government as a major reform in the agriculture sector to remove middlemen and allow farmers to sell anywhere in the country. The laws are the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Act, the Essential Commodities Act, the Farmers Empowerment and Farm Service Act. The very first law tells that the farmers deal with the trade areas of producing. It permits sale and purchase of farm produce outside the premises of APMC mandis without any market fee. It also includes electronic trading and e-commerce of farm produce. Second law is all about to provide a legal framework for contract farming, in which the farmers can enter into agreement with agribusiness firms, retailer for their produce at a mutually agreed price before the planting season. Third law scraps the center powers to impose stock handling limits on food items like pulses, onion, oils, and removing them from a list of essential commodities except under extraordinary condition or in a case of step price hike. As per the government, there will be no need for any kind of license for traders to purchase agriculture produce of farms in the trade and outside the APMC mandi. But you need a PAN card or any other document notified the government can join this trade. In fact, in case of any dispute arising in such business, the matter will be settled within 30 days by the divisional magistrate. Thus, farmers can sell business the matter they produce within the state or anywhere else in the country, and there will be no restriction on this type of trade. So, it will be very beneficial to the farmers to sell their produce to the merchant wherever they get a higher price. The farmers will not have to pay any fees or levy for sale of their produce and will not have to pay for transportation costs. An electronic trading platform has been proposed for ensuring a seamless trade electronically. In addition to mandis, farmers would enjoy the freedom to do trading at farm gate, warehouse, processing unit, etc. Farmers will be able to do direct marketing. So conclude, I would like to say, if the farmers is rich, so is the nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Shivani. Next, we have Hansika Lilani, who will be saying against the motion.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
The farmer is the only man in our economy who buys everything at retail, sells everything at wholesale, and pays the freight both ways. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hansika, and I welcome you all in this event. I am here to present my views for against the motion. Farmer union lost no time in rejecting the amendments proposed by the union government to the current farm laws. The farmers are demanding the scrapping of these laws, which were passed in the monsoon session of Parliament. The government offered to amend these laws have been rejected over 40 union farmer leaders who have been talking about the government on behalf of thousands of farmers sitting on different borders with a spy measures mindset on November 26th. Creation of private mandis with the state-run agriculture produce market committees will push all the agriculture businesses towards the private markets. This will result will be the end of government markets and intermediary system as well as APMC system. After that, only big traders and giant companies will operate the market and procure farm produce at incidental price. Farm output are offensive about grabbing the farmers' land by the large corporation under the contract farming. The union government has put a proposal to outlay the fear of farmers by saying that there will be no sale, lease, and transfer of land during the period of contract agreement. But the history of contract farming has many examples. Like in the case of sugarcane, where the payment was held for many years, or case of non-procurement making the excuse of poor quality. It has pushed the farmers into a debt trap. In such cases, farmers are unable to repay the loans and have no option other than to sell or lose their land. But the inflation data shows the retail and wholesale price for important food items, cereals, pulses, vegetables, and fruits move in tandem. This means farm gate prices are not completely divorced from the price prevailed in the market. What could be a bigger problem for farmers is the large volatility in prices of crops such as pulses and vegetables. Cereals, where MSP design is in the place for rice, wheat, face the lowest price volatility. Do you know over the one third of total rice and wheat production is procured by the government? This is exactly why farmers keep demanding MSP based procurement for all the crops. Due to the abolition of Mandi system, there will be no purchase of crops on MSP. Farmers will be exposed to the risk of fraud due to the entry of people without license and registration. These acts give permission to any PAN card holder to procure grains for the market at wishful price. Farmers' products have been going from one state to another in the past, and provision of the new law are the only benefits of the corporate and not for the benefit of farmers. To conclude, I would like to say, as long as there is a few farmers out there, we will keep fighting for them. Thank you.
Our 15th team is from SD Public School. May I call upon Niharika Sachdeva, who would be speaking for the motion.
Good afternoon to all the judges and my fellow candidates. Today, I am Niharika Sachdeva from Sanatan Dharam Public School, going to speak in favor of a topic which has been in the spotlight since many months. I know farmers know about their agriculture business better than anyone. But the main thing, they live in a country where decisions are made in front favor of everyone. And there are so many well-educated people present in the government who know how to develop the country. We say that change is the only constant, and only change will help the country grow. According to the sources, they didn't uh, know about the benefits they are getting from the bill because they're distracted by the some people. These people may be the opposition's party members who don't want people to stay happy in the rule of current government. Benefits, there are many benefits to farmers. Farmer Bill 2020 provides an alternative platform for farmers to sell their produce in the open market. Now the farmer is free to sell his products to anyone else as he wishes. Thus, they can earn profit by selling crop products at a higher price. There will be no inflation market. Taxes and transactions for such business areas. APMC will continue its functioning. Now, APMC has to compete with these alternative platforms, and now farmers have an option to sell their products. The bill empowers farmers to sell their goods directly from the farm to the corporate or exporter in the bulk. The current MSP based procurement of food grains, the bill of 2020, has not been removed. The MSP based procurement will continue, and farmers can sell their crops products in the mandi at the existing MSP as before. The rights of the Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee, that is, Agriculture Produce Marketing Committee (APMC) of the states, will remain intact. Therefore, farmers will have the option of government agencies. The new bill encourages farmers to interstate trade so that farmers will be able to sell their products freely in another state. APMC currently charge a market fee of 1% to 10% on various goods, but now no state or central tax will be levied on trade outside the state markets. No APMC tax or any levy and fees, etc., will be paid. There will no further documents will be required. At the same time, both buyer and seller will get their benefits. APMC tax will be paid by private companies and traders, not by farmers. Farmers can also find private players or agencies for contract farming or contract. No private agencies will be allowed to do anything with the farmers' land nor with their any construction on the farmers' land under the contract farming audience. Each state has different laws for agriculture and procurement. Therefore, a uniform central law implemented under the new law will provide an opportunity for equality all stakeholders. The new bill will encourage more investment in agriculture as it will increase competition. Private investment it will further strengthen farming infrastructure and create employment opportunities. According to the sources of to the 2015 Shanta Kumar committee report, 94% farmers are already selling their produce to private companies and traders. There is no restriction on farmers for selling products to private companies and traders. This is my points for the Farmer Bill 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Niharika. Next, we have Tisha Sachdeva, who would be speaking against the motion.
Am I visible?
Yes, you're visible.
Okay. Hi, Tisha Sachdeva. I'm a student of SG Public School, East Punjabi Bag, and I am speaking in against the motion. I want to place a point in front of you all that if the farmers are not impressed by the amendments which, according to the government, are done for them, then what's the point of doing it? If we really want to do something for farmers, which consists of 58% of total population, then we should actually do it according to their needs and wants, not our interpretations. Now, therefore, I want to place in front of you some objections of farmers with which I agree to. Now, first of all, I'm telling you some of the central's proposals and why are I'm objecting them. Center's proposal. State governments can impose fees on the private mandis, whereas farmers object that creation of private mandis along with the state and agriculture product market. APMC will push all agricultural business towards private markets. The result will be the end of government markets and intermediary systems as well as APMC. After that, only giant companies will operate and at initial prices. The government has proposed that there will be uniform policy of taxes, fees, cess, both for the government and private market, but the government would deliberately delay procurement as in case of paddy. Now, the second proposal of center is that written assurance from government for the continuation of the existing MSP system. But farmers' objection is that we are not only apprehensive but fully convinced that the new Agriculture Act about to dismantle APMCs. Therefore, we are demanding that the union government should employ a comprehensive act on MSP for the whole country and all crops. But the government is dragging its feet for a written assurance, which is not a legal document and has no guarantee that why farmers have to reject the government's proposal of written assurance and insisted on repeal of these anti-farmer acts. Now, another central proposal is that state governments can register traders to regulate the traders. And farmers object that the present farm laws have no provision to regulate the traders. These acts give permission to any PAN card holder to procure grains from the market at wishful prices and indulge in hoarding. Instead of making provisions of registration to regulate the traders, the central is trying to pass the buck to state government to regulate the traders. So the center is not ready to take any responsibility on this issue. And another proposal is that under the contract farming law, farmers will have the alternative to approach the court and their land will be safe as no loan will be given in farmers. And farmers object on this too. At end, I just want to say that the government should ask farmers what they need and focusing on their needs amend the bill instead of making bills on their own interpretations. And I agree with all the farmer accusations. And we all, including the politicians, should always remember that we have food on our palate because of these farmers only. So their demands should always be considered first and listened. Thank you.
Team 16 is from Jim's Kalkaji. Now we have Aman Kumar who would be speaking for the motion.
Thank you, Ankita. Good afternoon to one and all judges, opposition team, and all the other participants. I'm Aman Kumar, and I would be speaking, I would be speaking on the topic relevance of agriculture law,
Aman,
relevance of.
please switch on your video.
Hello.
Yes, you can
Hello.
continue now.
Okay, I'm starting. Good morning to one and all present here, our honorable judges, opposition team, and all the other participants. I am Aman Kumar, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak on the topic of relevance of new agriculture law for the farmers and the economy. So I would like to start with the quote. The farmer are the only man in our economy who buys everything at wholesale and pays the freight both ways. Earlier, there were three markets. There were local market. The farmer used to sell their product at the local market. If they are not satisfied with this, then there is APMC market, or which is also known as Sarkari Mandis. Even if they are not satisfied to sell their product in the APMC market, then there is MSP. Government can purchase their product at the rate which is fixed by the government. But now, government has introduced a new farm law 2020. They are Farm Produce Trade and Commerce. It was introduced by the Union Minister of Agriculture and Farmers. This Farm Bill 2020 let the intra and interstate farmers produce even outside the premises of APMC market without paying any extra market fee, cess or levy. A state government are prohibited from levying any of those. This law will bring benefit to farmers. Now they can directly sell their product to private sector without payment of taxes, which is higher than the MSP price, and they can sell their product to any of the APMC markets from all over the India. The second is the Farmer Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Service Bill. This aim for framing contractual between buyer and the farmers through an agreement. This agreement will be having all the details between the contract of buyers of private sector and farmers. The buyers can provide pesticides, fertilizers, and infrastructure facilities to the farmer. And this contract should be done before producing crops. The third bill, the Essential Commodities Bill, states that earlier there was a limit that the people can store the goods, but the bill has changed the system. Now we can store the goods as much quantity we want. Many agro foods like pulses, onions, potatoes, oilseed cereals, and edible oil removed from the essential commodities list by this Farm Bill 2020. According to the government, the recently passed bill for the farmers will help in transforming the agriculture sector, as these are believed to increase the farmers' income. The center believes that the people engaged in farming will become independent and can get a better prices for their product. To conclude, I would say the government believes that the newly passed agriculture bill in India will accelerate growth in the agriculture market through investment from private sector and supply of agro products in national as well as international market. I here rest my case. Thank you so much.
Respected Chairperson, Honorable Member of Jury, my worthy opponents, and dear audience, I, Himanshu Kumar, feel honored to have been given the opportunity to speak against the motion Relevance of New Agriculture Laws for Indian Agriculture and Economy by saying, once in a life, you need a doctor, a lawyer, policeman, a preacher, but every day, 3 times a day, you need a farmer. So,
please switch on your video. Video, please.
I'm visible?
No. The photo is visible. You're not visible.
I'm visible now?
Yes, you're visible now. You can continue.
Okay, ma'am. So, what are these farm laws? These laws are first, the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Act provide for setting up a mechanism allowing the farmers to sell their farm produces outside the APMC. That means Agricultural Produce Market Committees. Any license holder trader can buy the produce from farm at mutually agreed prices. Second, the Farmer Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Act allows the farmer to do contract farming and market their produces freely. The third, Essential Commodities Act is an amendment to the existing Essential Commodities Act. This law now frees items such as food grains, pulses, edible oils, and onion for trade except in extraordinary situations. They had first came in the month of June last year as the three ordinances before being approved by the parliament during the monsoon session by a voice note. So, further, I would like to discuss the drawbacks of the following. With this law, mandis operated under the APMC law of the state will be abolished. After the end of the APMC mandis, the farmers will be forced to sell the crop to the corporate companies at 1.5 prices. Due to the abolition of mandi system, there will be no price of crops on MSP. Farmers' product have been going from one state to another in the past, and the provision for new law are only for the benefit of the crop of the corporate and not for the benefit of the farmers. Farmers will be exposed to the risk of fraud due to entry of people without license or registration. Farmers are not trained electronic trading and thus they shall be highly prone to frauds. Big companies will have freedom to stock commodities. It means they will dictate terms to farmers, which may lead to less prices for the cultivators as well. I would love to conclude that, no doubt, the bills help farmers by giving them freedom to sell the goods as per their own choices. However, the biggest chunk of Indian farmers are small farmers, having no great education or source of income. A greater degree of consultation could have provided much needed motivation for the realization. For transformation, the bill needs significant amendments before vision can turn into reality. As not considering the voices of farmers, the government is already facing a huge backlash. I hope I have able to get my point of view to you. Thank you so much.
Team 17 is from Kasturi Ram College of Higher Education. May I now call upon Ritika Upadhyay, who would be speaking for the motion.
Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, you're audible.
So, good afternoon, judges, my worthy opponents, and members of audience. My name is Ritika Upadhyay. I'm a first year student of journalism at Kasturi Ram College of Higher Education. So, today I will be talking about why I strongly
Ritika,
believe
please
that.
switch your video on.
Okay, wait. My video is on actually. Hello.
Yes, you are visible now. Can please continue.
Good afternoon, judges, my worthy opponents, and member of the audience. My name is Ritika Upadhyay. I'm a first year student of journalism at Kasturi Ram College of Higher Education. Today, I will be talking about why I strongly believe that the new farm bills are beneficial for both farmers as well as Indian economy. So, first and foremost, I would like to tell everyone what are the three farm laws. Law number 1, Trade and Commerce Act. Law number 2, the Farmers Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Act. And law number 3, the Essential Commodities Act. The first two laws were introduced by Mr. Narendra Singh Tomar, whereas the third law is introduced by Mr. Rao Sahib Patil Danve in Lok Sabha. When the country is making such tremendous strides with digital connectivity and even school children have moved to online classes now, it's time for the agriculture sector to go online. Farming is not an attractive occupation. Surveys shows that 42% of farmers want to move out of it. Today, farmers are fighting not only for a better price but also for a better market. Farmers must be as free as non-farmers to buy and sell anywhere in India. Now, farmers will get better prices through an increase in their marketing capacities, and this will help in creating one nation, one market. Opposition parties and many farmer organizations have protested against the new law. The protest arises from misstatement given by some politicians that the minimum support price, which is MSP, will eventually become redundant. The commission agents have been the main link between the farmers and the political agencies. These bills will adversely affect their businesses. These commission agents regard their opposition as a fight for their survival. The new laws will give farmers the freedom to sell their products anywhere in India. It will give them access to corporate buyers. India in 1991 went through a major reform within license was dismantled and the Indian market was opened to multinational companies. In these reforms, the most important sector was left out, that is the agriculture sector. Repealing the APMC's Act and Essential Commodities Act was considered a key step towards giving farmers a liberated economic landscape to boost their income. The stronger the agriculture sector will be, the stronger will be the foundation of self-reliant India. Now I'm going to tell some benefits of the new laws. Farm Bills 2020 provides an alternative platform for farmers to sell their products in open market. Now the farmer is free to sell his products to anyone else as he wishes. The new bill encourages the farmer to interstate trade, so the farmer will be able to sell their products freely in another state. Partner with private players or agencies for contract farming. I strongly believe that these laws are very beneficial for our farmers as well as Indian economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ritika. Next, we have Parigu speaking against the motion.
Thank you, Ankita. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Good afternoon, while I'm present here, I, Parikutta, first year student, I pursuing Bachelor's of Journalism and Mass Communication at Kasturi Ram College of Higher Education. Today, I am presenting my opinion against the relevance of new agriculture law for Indian agriculture and economy. As we all know, agriculture is an important sector of Indian economy, as it contributes 70% of total GDP and provides employment to over 60% of population. When we said Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, what does the slogan mean? It's hard to exploit them because I think the government is exploiting the pillars of economy. Why always farmers have to suffer? Don't get me wrong. In September 2020, Indian government passed 3 laws. First one is the Farmer Agreement and Price Assurance and Price Services Bill 2020. This bill makes a provision for setting up a framework for contract farming. In simple word, legal document between buyer and farmer. And the second one is the Farmer Producer Trade and Commerce Bill 2020. This will allow farmers to sell their produce outside the market, outside the APMC, which is Agriculture Produce Market Committee regulated markets. So who all are unaware about APMC, I would like to give some glimpse about it. APMC are state government controlled market, yards or mandis. I would like to throw some light on this topic with an example. For example, farmer A cultivate rice in huge quantity in very high cost of cultivation. Market do not have that much demand. Here supply is more than demand. So definitely price will fall and farmer have to bear all the losses. The third one is the Essential Commodity Bill 2020. Allow interstate or intrastate trade for farmer produce beyond the physical premises of APMC. This law already exists in America and France. And we all know the condition of farmer, although America and France are developed countries, but they do not have effective laws for agriculture. Government handling everything to private sector. And maybe in future, everything is owned by private sector. Today, we all know about the petrol prices. They are skywards. This is a high time. We actually need to stop blabbering about it and let's do something for our future and its economy and our economy. If we ever watch farmers sowing and rising crop, from then we will stop wasting our food from our plate. Thank you so much.
Team 18th is from Bluebells International School. Coming up next is Divya Rao Jenny, who would express herself for the motion.
Thank you. Am I visible and audible?
Yes, you're visible and audible.
Fantastic, right? India is in the clutches of an agrarian crisis. The agriculture sector employs more than 50% of the total Indian workforce. This imbalance in the input and output of the agriculture sector is drastically disproportionate. The archaic system of APMCs and unviable MSPs must change. I believe the new farm laws are the first step in the direction of liberating the farmers of our nation from debt, oppression, and exploitation, enabling them to put food on their own tables and those of millions more. I am Diya Rao Jaini from Bluebell School International, and I will be critically analyzing these laws to understand their relevance to Indian agriculture and economy. Let me first begin with their intention. I believe that the three laws aim to revolutionize Indian agriculture. The new Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Law now allows farmers to sell to diverse buyers from across the nation. Before these laws, farmers could only sell to registered buyers in mandis known as APMCs. This meant these buyers could form exploitative cartels. Lack of alternatives compelled farmers to sell to them despite unfair prices and practices. In my opinion, these corrupt APMCs hinder the prosperous growth of small and marginal farmers. A varied choice of buyers implies better price realization. Farmers will also have improved market intelligence, that is, the knowledge of which crop has higher demand, leading to smarter crop choices. The new law is instrumental to achieve the same. Secondly, the new Contract Farming Act provides guidelines to safeguard the farmers' interests in their interactions with larger corporates. This contract is expected to be binding on the corporate, but gives farmers the provision to walk away at any time. It protects our hard-working farmers from maltreatment, which I believe is a step in the right direction. The last of the three laws is the Essential Commodities Amendment Act, hereon referred to as the ECA. It creates a transparent system of self-regulation that does not allow hoarding by corporates. In the absence of safeguards, the earlier law gave the government arbitrary power to enforce storage limits, leading to corruption. The artificial inflation of prices of essential commodities hurt consumers' interests. It also dampened investment by private players in the agriculture sector, especially in infrastructure. The amendment allows ECA to be invoked only when the prices of commodities move up by over 50% or 100%, as the case may be. It is abundantly clear that the laws together aim, as is their intention, to revolutionize agriculture by boosting investor confidence and encouraging investment. Farmer organizations, however, differ in this view. The point of contention is the minimum support price. The MSP is implemented only for major crops like paddy and wheat. Within a short price, farmers tend to produce only these major crops, but at high ecological cost. The laws aim to position agriculture as an attractive opportunity to corporate players. While the government has assured that it will continue to procure produce from farmers at the MSP, farmer organizations fear monopolization by corporates. However, this fear is not as insurmountable as it may seem. It can be offset by organizing farmers into collectives to improve their bargaining power. Increased political strength would equip our farmers to counter any potential monopolization. In conclusion, as we emphasize the benefits of the new farm laws on Indian agriculture and economy, it is useful to remember Mahatma Gandhi's talisman. Before I make any decision, I see how it will benefit the poorest person I know. With appropriate implementation, these laws can herald change while holding the interest of the most vulnerable in the agriculture value chain, the farmers. Thank you.
Thank you, Divya. Next, we have Arushi Handa, who will be saying against the motion.
I believe there's a technical glitch on Arushi's end. She's unable to unmute. So, what would be the procedure now? I think she's just trying to unmute herself. If maybe somebody from the organizing committee could unmute her, that would be great.
Arushi, you only can unmute yourself.
Right, I believe she's not being able to do that. Is there any provision from which maybe the admin of the meeting or someone could unmute her? All right, she's here. Great.
Right, sorry for the glitch. Am I visible and audible?
Yes, you're visible and audible.
Great. Would you deny yourself of the comforts of your home for over 160 days and battle the extreme conditions when your livelihood wasn't at stake? India's farmers in 2020 were faced with a dilemma: three new agricultural laws. Our farmers are acutely debt ridden, starved of funding, and of a short price mechanism. The three legislations, if taken together, accentuate the crisis even further. In absence of a guaranteed support price mechanism, the legislations failed to even mention substantial support for the MSP as a fundamental condition for open agricultural trade and tamper with the system of APMC markets. Gentlemen, I am Arushi Honda, a student of Bluebell School International. Our government claims that these laws will transform Indian agriculture and attract private investment. But are these laws an expedient reform or a red flag? Therefore, I will be speaking against the motion today. As my worthy opponent stated, over 600 million people are employed in agriculture, which necessitates the need for reforms to ensure the welfare of the farmers. However, the new laws raise questions about the real intentions of the central government for taking the ordinance route during the time when the Indian economy entered a technical recession for two consecutive quarters and hastily passing bills in both the houses. In rushing the bills through the parliament on the strength of numbers, the union government has chosen to completely ignore the voices of the farmers themselves. At a time when the economy is upended, livelihoods are affected, protests by farmers as a response to these bills will cause agricultural supply to dip, eventually leading to inflation, compounding the distress on the economy. The law aims to give farmers the freedom to sell to any buyers outside the APMCs, enter into contracts with buyers directly, and lift restrictions on stock limits to incentivize private investment in agriculture. The immense practical difficulties associated with the proposed set have received no consideration. This is the reason farmers are skeptical. The Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Bill prohibits state governments from collecting market fee for trade outside the APMCs, incurring a massive loss of revenue for them. Farmers' Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill is framed to suit the big corporates and may end up corporatizing agriculture. Farmers fear that these corporate houses could dominate them with money power. In addition to this, the Essential Commodities Amendment Bill allows companies to stock commodities, allowing them to dictate terms to farmers. Apprehensive about the formal contractual obligations in contract farming, owing to the unorganized nature of this sector and lack of resources for a legal battle with private corporate entities. Farmers fear that APMCs may become unviable if trade moves substantially to alternate platforms. The dismantling of the monopoly of the APMCs is a sign of ending the assured procurement of food grains at minimum support prices. To the centre's one nation, one market call, one nation, one MSP. It is rather significant to note that many people have called it the era of draconian laws. The debate over the Farmers' Bills 2020 have caused farmers to take to the streets in enormous numbers to express their disagreement. Their anguish has taken the form of the largest protest in human history. To conclude, I would like to leave the audience with one last thought. The bills were made to benefit farmers. Surprisingly, they have overtly expressed their discontent. What are we waiting for? Thank you.
Last team for the day is from Daulat Ram College, Delhi University. Now we have Yachika Tyagi, who would be speaking for the motion. Yachika, are you there? Kushi, are you there? Once a great man whispered. Feeling thankfulness and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Today, I would like to take the opportunity to put all my gratitude into words. I would like to thank all the participants of today's competition. It was wonderful to listen to some thought provoking ideas and to be witness to a lively debate session. Before we end our session, I would request our esteemed judges to share their observations and thoughts with us. May I now request Vinod Dumlekar sir to share his insights with us.
Thank you, Nikita. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. First of all, I think I learned more about farm bills than at any other place across the last 4 months. Yeah, there was quite a wide variety of both data and opinions expressed on the topic. And it was very interesting to see that the students seem to know a lot more than what was being written about. And that is a very healthy sign of progress for us. I mean, often we feel that the younger students or the younger lot are not as informed as, but I am glad that it has proved that this is not true. A debate is a very exciting learning experience. Why is it so? It helps the debaters to collect data and opinions of many, put them all together, process it, and come out with their own opinions and perhaps conclusions as well. Now, this is very good because you come to a point of view, which sometimes is called a philosophy. But in a debate, you tend to go further. You also tend to stick to a point and defend it. In life, you often need to defend a point of view which is not yours. So this could be a very good training ground for all of you. You may be selling something, you may be arguing something else on somebody else's point of view, which may not believe, which you don't believe in. So therefore, this is an exercise which I think takes you down the road to become good, to talk about a topic which you don't believe in, to collect data, and to be able to represent a point of view, which is ultimately the conclusion and sum total of a huge amount of data and other people's opinions. A third or a fourth point of view is that many of you were very articulate, but I have a couple of provisos here. One is that I suspect some of you are reading the paper. I think it's all right at this level, but in future, I think you must be able to find a way of how you can speak extempore. Writing a few notes on paper is fine, but when you read, where's the debate? I mean, you already have your points written in full sentences. So there's no chemistry out there. There are no sparks, although some of you read very well as well. You tend to make a better impact when you speak naturally, even if you were to make mistakes and maybe pronunciation, etc. You speak naturally. I mean, all of us do that. I don't know how many mistakes I'm making while I'm speaking to you. And lastly, where do we go from here? I think debaters become very good at sales. Debaters also become very good at negotiation, where you need to express your point of view and so on. And finally, I mean, all this for this is taking us to politics as well. I hope the students here, I hope all of them end up in politics, because we want informed people out there, people who can be articulate, people who can solve different opinions, put them all together, and then remove the pain, solve problems, so to speak. I know some of you are probably doing it for the first time, so you may not have done very well. I did sense a couple of cases of nervousness, but that is there for all of us. Even I've been nervous on so many accounts in the past. Everybody has been. So that's okay. But you made a beginning today, and I think it was fun listening to all of you. My thanks are due to the faculty and the institute who has invited me to be a judge over here. Ankita has done a wonderful job of speaking and organizing the sitting today. I hope that you can take this further. It's an unusual event, and I think everybody has done very, very well. Thank you, Ankita. You can take it from here.
Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable words. Now, I request Anshul Kapoor, sir, to share his inputs with us.
Ankita, I guess Anshul sir is not with us.
We are just waiting for sir to rejoin.
Okay.
Now, I request Anshul Kapoor, sir, to share his inputs with us. Anshul, sir, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you audible.
Yeah, thank you so much for making me the judge of this great competition. It was really wonderful listening to all the participants, and I also endorse the views of Dr. Vinod. He has very rightly said that the points needs to be summarized first. Actually, people were reading from the papers. That's good that you are reading and then telling, but this is my sincere advice to all the participants. All the participants spoke very well, but you must jot down some of the points that you can see from the paper and then elaborate on your own. Reading the whole paragraph or the whole debate from the paper doesn't make it a debate. That just makes it a, you can say a, or you can say a learning or a teaching kind of a thing. A debates needs to be both ways. It was done very in a very good spirit, and I congratulate BCIPS for that. They have really made it, and the school children also participated. They were also very well knowledgeable. They spoke very well. My congratulations to all the participants, not only the winners, but all the participants make it a really made it a really great show for all the judges, and the decision was difficult. The participants spoke so well that it was a difficult decision for us to make. But though not only the winners, but I congratulate all the participants. A grand success. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Keep it up, keep practicing, and keep take part in all the debates so that you can improve upon yourself. And always, when you take down some points from the internet, try to speak them in your own words. You can take figures from the internet and then try to summarize them and then try to speak in your own words, making your own language the part of the debate, not just the language of the internet. This is my sincere advice. Thank you. Well wishes for a great result. Bye.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. It has been a wonderful experience for our institute, BCIPS, to organize this competition and seeing all the participants shine. All speakers representing their respective institutes were really impressive and a delight to listen to. We hope that you all enjoyed the experience. Finally, the wait is over, and we are here with the jury's decision. Now, coming to the most awaited moments, may I now call upon member of organizing committee, Jayan sir, to declare the results.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? I hope so. So, इब्तिदा है तो इंतहा भी होगी, आगाज है तो अंजाम भी होगा। जो मुकाबला अपनी राह पर चल रहा था अब तक अपनी मंजिल पर पहुंच गया आखिर तक। Slowly has now come to an end. Before telling us its results, ready to announce the results of this debate competition. Success and failure are all synonyms of outcomes only. So, let us see the outcome now. The second runner-up is anyone who would like to guess? Second runner-up team. No guesses? I think that people are tired after this long marathon that we have had. The second runner-up team is the team from Mothers International, Ariman Bhatia and Viduhi Mohan. Ariman Bhatia and Viduhi Mohan are the second runner-up for the third position. Many congratulations. Now we come to the...
Thank you, sir.
Can we listen to a grand applause? I know everyone is confined to his or her room. At least some applause. People should be gracious enough. Yes, that's the spirit. Now we come to the second position or the first runner-up. The first runner-up is... come on, can you guess? First runner-up. Can we have an intelligent guess here? Audience? Nobody would like to take a risk, apparently, huh? The first runner-up is the team from Blue Wells International. The team, Divya Rao Jaini and Arushi Handa. The second runner-up, sorry, the first runner-up. Many congratulations, both of you.
Many congratulations. Many congratulations.
And finally, the winner. One has to be a winner and one has to be a loser. But nobody likes to enter the battlefield for losing. So finally, the winner of this inter-institute laws. Again, I'm asking you all. One, guess. Can anyone guess?
Aishwarya from BCIPS.
सर रौनक रौनक
So, अच्छा
वीडियो ऑन नहीं कर रहा है, वीडियो को जरूर
काश मैं ज्योतिषी होता. The winner, once again I repeat, the winner of this inter-institute debate competition. Yes, Parth? The winner is...
I think it's Kavya and Chaitanya.
Yes, they spoke well, but unfortunately they aren't the winners. So the winner is the team from Mothers International, Bhaswar Adalaka and Abhimanyu Singh. May we have a big round of applause for this team from Mothers International? Everyone, please. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate each of these winning teams, first, second, and third position. And at the same time, as the judges pointed out, and our anchor also said that winning and losing does not matter in the end. It is your participation, it is your viewpoint, it is your expression of opinion that matters. And even if you are on the losing side, that does not make you a loser. Such is the beauty of our competition. With these words, I hand over the mic to Ankita again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Heartiest congratulations to all the winners and all the participants in today's competition. You will get your e-certificates on your registered email IDs very soon. To conclude today's event, may I now call upon member of organizing committee, Asjad Usmani sir, to present the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Ankita. A very good afternoon to our most valued guest, Director BCIPS, colleague and participant. It is a matter of honor to propose the vote of thanks as we conclude the most awaited inter-institute debate on the topic agrarian laws. On the behalf of the entire community of BCIPS, I extend sincere thanks to the judge, Mr. Vinod Dambalkar and Mr. Anshul Kapoor, for gracing the event and giving their valuable time. I also extend thanks to all the participants for expressing their views and sharing their opinions on this platform. It was really a very learning platform in which we also learned something that we were not been able to do from the present media or anything that is available. So I thank all the participants for their valuable suggestion, for the valuable debate on this platform. Further, heartfelt gratitude to the dedicated and well-motivated team members and student volunteers for their effort to make this event possible. I thank from my bottom of heart to Mr. Piyush Kumar, Ankita, and all the students for their time they have taken to come and grace the occasion. I also thank our director, Mrs. Dr. Aparna Mishra, for being a strong pillar of support and for the guidance extended to all. We are fortunate to be blessed with people who have been the strength of this event. Without naming them, it will be impossible for us to conclude this event. I like to thank my colleague, Ms. Tanushri, Jen Sanyal, and Ms. Latika Malhotra for being a pillar for participating and for doing all the things that has been required to make this event a great success. Thank you all to all the participating college, to all the participating students. As we see that we have got 19 teams from the different schools and colleges, and this event was been prepared for 2 months before the final day. So with this, I thank one and all for being with us. It has remained a pronounced pleasure. Thank you and have a great day. Thank you very much. With this kind word, I conclude this debate and let's meet again next year for a new topic, for a new date. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We can
Thank you,
leave
everybody.
and this event is over. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. अभी किस विषय पे बात होगी?
या तो सभी के सामने बोला है, बहुत ज्यादा आवाज जाती है
पढ़ाई के लिए